Hi everyone, welcome to After Class with Ballet for All,
a podcast by two passionate adult ballerinas about all things adult ballet related.
and some random thoughts in between.
We're so glad you're here.
So grab your water bottle
Or a cup of coffee.
and join us for a quick chat after class. Hello, Hannah. Welcome to today's episode. How are you feeling today?
I think this one's going to be funny. I'm actually excited to hear your answers to this too, because I don't really know what you're going to say.
What we're going to do is, let's divide it between bar and center. So today's episode, so everyone knows, we're going to be talking about our favorite and least favorite ballet steps, ballet movement, maybe exercises. And I think it would be better we divide it in bar and center. Now, I would like to start with my favorite exercise that I will always be like at the bar. If this exercise isn't there, I just don't enjoy the class. Fondues. But the killing ones. Though that is double fondues and it's stretching over the same leg so you get tired and your calves are killing you. That's the fondue that I love, which I don't do with you too much because I don't want you to hate me, but I love it.
You know, I love fondue also. It's funny that that's what you would pick because I actually remember when I was first taking ballet classes as a kid, I remember learning fondue and feeling like that was one of the first exercises or steps that I learned where I really felt like I was dancing, you know, like I actually felt like a ballerina. It was kind of the first step where I was like, oh, this feels like what I expected ballet to feel like. And I remember doing fondues at home after class and like really working on bending and straightening at the same time and trying so hard to get the coordination of my legs bending and straightening. So it's funny, like I also love fondue, and I think maybe partially because it just makes me nostalgic for when I was learning as a kid.
Oh, so sweet. That's so cute. So what about you? What would be one of your favorite steps?
I think I would probably either say fondue or rond de jambe. I think, again, probably for the same reason that I love rond de jambe is that it was one of those exercises. And still to this day, I feel like it's the part in class where I feel like, oh, we're dancing now. Like this is when class starts to feel like dancing to me, is when you start to do that sweeping. It's just so beautiful. I love the arms that go with rond de jambe, like
the coordination
and the allongé out of the arms. I'm just like, oh, it's just so beautiful. I get so excited for rond de jambe in like every class. That's like the part where I'm smile and love it.
Another exercise that I like, I think, and a step that I would love is développés. I don't know, you just get to like enjoy. I love that of passing through the supporting leg and lifting your leg and maybe going to a releve. It's just that elongation, that feeling of growing and flying. Yeah. I love that. I love
développé too. And you know, I actually love too is I love enveloppé. I love reversing it. Like there's something about doing développé and then reversing it into enveloppé. I'm just like, oh, it just feels so elegant. I think such classic ballet steps. So I love
something that I don't like as a teacher, as a dancer, and I keep saying it every time, is frappés. I don't know why I don't like it, because they are meant to be fun and dynamic and agile and tiki battus and whatever. But I think it's just because it's so fast and so dynamic and I don't give me time to, and it's just like,
yeah,
I don't enjoy a frappé as an exercise and as a step. I just don't know why.
I totally agree. I think for me too, I guess, because I know depending on how you learned it, if you learned it on a pointed foot, it's different, but I learned it on a flexed foot coming in, and I just think it's ugly.
It is.
And I get why you're training that movement, but I'm just like, this isn't cute.
Yeah, it is. I understand that articulation of like through the foot, and I understand that, but I didn't learn to do frappé that way. So it's funny because I'm trying to get used to it. So when you and Maggie do the frappés with me, and I just can't coordinate it. I can't coordinate coming from flex to point and back to flex, back to point. I don't like it. No, no, gracias.
Toss it out. I'm like, boo frappe. Another one, I think this one's going to make you kind of sad, but I'm just going to be honest. One that I hate at the bar is flick flack. I'm like, why?
Oh, it is.
Why? Don't understand.
It's all about letting go. It's just that, like, sometimes I keep saying it to you all in ballet classes. Just let go. Don't think too much and just flick and flag and go. But it's true. It's so much coordination and the body is rotating in a different way that what you expect, especially when there's a flick, flag, and the oars. It's just so confusing.
Yeah, it is like it's one of those things that is just so hard to get my coordination to fire correctly on doing that I'm just like, I am never gonna not look like an idiot trying to do flip flag.
My God, it is hard.
So what about for center? What are steps that you love?
I will say, I love the ground fuertes and lair. So that's the one that you would start from. I love them. I just remember loving that, going from that arabesque, plie, brushing through first, the grand bottom, the van, and then side arabesque plie. Oh, that control, seeing all the positions passing through and finishing. Oh, wow, I love that. And I mean, this one is the underdone, yeah, because the under is the one that starts from the front back. So the underdone coming from the arabesque. Oh,
it is beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. I don't know that anything involving the word fouette would be listed on my favorites, but I can appreciate watching it. It's a favorite. Actually doing it, it is not a favorite.
I used to love it. Love it.
That's so fun.
What about you?
Oh, favorites in center. I mean, I just love Adagio. I know that's like an unpopular opinion. And a lot of people are like, I hate Adagio. And I'm like, give me all the Adagio and take away all the Petit Allegro. Because when I think about my favorite aspects to watch in ballet too, it's the Adagio parts of a ballet. You know, like I mean, I can watch, you know, more Petit Allegro type ballet parts of ballets and be impressed and think like, oh wow, that's cool, but it doesn't move me the way that Adagio movements.
Sure.
I love Adagio, and I love dancing Adagio too. Like that is my favorite. It's so funny when I'm like in a class and it's like, oh, it's time for Adagio, and everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, I'm the only one that loves this. I'm like, yes, this is my favorite class. I'm like, I'm living for this right now. So I love all of it because, yeah, I love doing like développés. You know, I love having time to really move through your port de bras and like really think about lengthening. And I think I tend to like the music that goes with Adagio better, even just from the types of classical music that I would enjoy listening to, or like the type of piece I would enjoy listening to. I love it. A good Adagio, man, is just so good.
I will say that, yeah, I do agree. Adagios are lovely and when you enjoy. And that's maybe why I like also those ground roll the jumps. We mostly join them to Adagios and run the jumps. I will say that my next favorite exercise, now that you talked about Petit Allegros, we always have this sauté arabesque, passe, contretemps, pas de bourrée, assemblée, big, and contretemps, pique, and run, and entrelace. I just used to love those exercises that use space and
Grand Allegro
jumps. Oh my God, just those run huge allegros of jumping and a step and pas de bourrée, contretemps, pique, and paso, blah, blah, blah. I love anything that needs you to like really project. Anything that asks you to project all that energy, I love it. Love it.
I definitely prefer Grand Allegro to Petit Allegro. And again, even watching it, like I just think it's so much more fun to watch.
What do you think about, like we used to do a lot of that and I'm not doing it too much now, but the Grand Plie pirouettes. Grand Plie from any position and just taking the pirouette out of that Grand Plie in any position. I just love it.
I think it's another way of training to be able to really find your center and find your alignment quickly.
Yeah.
Because you're in obviously a much more like extreme position when you're doing a pirouette from a Grand Plie versus doing a pirouette from a demi plie. Like you have to really work harder to like find it. So I think it's a good training exercise. Do I think it's fun? Like not necessarily, but I see the value in it, so I can appreciate why. But
what about your least favorite step in the center? If you were to pick one, what would be the one that like, I'm not doing that step or I'm not doing that sequence or that exercise?
I mean, I guess, yeah, just Petit Allegro in general. But it's hard with Petit Allegro. I think the reason that I don't like it is because I'm not good at it. So I think if I was better at it, I would probably like it more. But because when I do each individual step, you know, if I do like an ensemble or a jeté, or it's not that I don't enjoy the individual steps that make up a Petit Allegro combination. It's when they're all packed together and you have to do them really fast. Then I'm like, I am no longer having fun. This is not fun for me anymore.
God. I'm not good with jumps, and I used to hate, like, I will do any adagio, any fondue in the center. You can ask me, like, I love anything that asks for legs strength, for upper and lower body strength. I'm fine with that. Pirouettes, turns, but oh my God, the jumps. And the battus, what we call in Spanish baterias, is just like batu, and it's a truchacata, the royal, the bude, because I'm not good with jumps, and naturally I don't jump really high, so to batu, you really have to have that lifting and jumping, and I used to hate it so much. Like I would hide at the back of the room, we had to do battus. And it was like constantly. And it would be not just one, because in Cuba, again, you have like 90 minutes or close to 2 hours of class. So there is time to fit. And every time I exercise, I said 2 different variations and 3 variations of them. So we would be doing them all. I used to high jumping.
And like the effort for me is not worth the payout. You know what I mean? Like when I look at an entrechocade or entrechatsis, wow. When I look at those, I'm like, yeah, okay, it looks cool, but I don't look at that and be like, oh, I so want to know how to do that. You know, for me, it's when I look at more adagio type movements where it's like a beautiful, like just slow penché, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that, you know? And so it's just funny how different types of movements speak to different people. Like I know some people, they just get stoked on the idea of being able to do crazy Petit Allegro. And I'm just like, I could do without it.
I have students that love it. I have so many students that they are like, oh, let's do more. And yes, anything. Enchantment, échappé, and close, enchantment, and jump and block and block. I'm like, I love it. They do enjoy it. I'm like, okay, good for you. But I didn't like that much.
I know. And I'm sure there's people listening to this who are like, yeah, I love Petit Allegro. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm glad that you have found what speaks to your soul. It's not it for me. So
what else could we think of? Like,
oh my gosh.
I love Saison as Grand Allegros. I love Saison, but I think that it's so hard when you do Saison and Saison. And so it is a very mixed relationship with that.
Yeah.
Like I would love to have those big jumps. So I'm flexible, so I can get my legs open. Yeah. I cannot really get off the ground. So
I've seen you do Saison in some of your YouTube videos, and they're beautiful. So I'm like, I don't even want to hear about your struggles, because it doesn't look like you're struggling at all. I see that video. But another one I just thought of that I am not a fan of is Grand Pliés in center. Whew, that is hard. Any Grand Pliés in center, I'm like, oh gosh, especially like in fifth. That is like some serious.
That's why your face when I asked, how do you feel about doing pirouettes from Grand Plié? You have to be like,
exactly.
You haven't heard yet that I don't like Grand Plié, so imagine taking a pirouette out of it.
Man, they are brute. But you know what the good thing about those is, though, is they really tell you where you're at. Yeah. Because at the bar, you know, you have that little support there holding you and allowing you to cheat a little bit. And so once you take that away, I always feel like doing a Grand Plié in center, I'm like, oh, okay.
It is.
There we are.
It is funny because there is a lot of students that, as a teacher, sometimes we spend too much time at the bar with the students, and we don't realize that we are creating bar students know center is where they're going to be dancing. Without the bar, without the support. The bar is for creating that foundation, that trust. However, sometimes you move to center, or you move too late, or you don't know enough in the center, and you can see students that are bar students. By that I mean they can do everything great with body alignment, with control, with balance, even great balance at the bar. But mentally, they won't be able to do it in the center because they are so used to having that support of the bar, and they are not that used to having the center exercises. So it's so hard. We create that, like, that's why those grand pliés are so hard. And that's why you need to keep doing it more and more and more. Okay, challenge accepted.
I know. The center does not lie. You can kind of fudge your way through a lot of stuff at the bar, and then you get in the center and you're like, oh, that's where I'm really not working in proper alignment. Okay, just found it. Thank you.
Definitely.
I think one of the ones that has become my favorite that we just started doing recently is the lame duck turns. I love them. I'm having so much fun learning and working on those because I feel like there's something about that turn specifically that my body naturally, you know, some things when you learn, it's like you're fighting your body, and then some things when you learn, it feels like your body's totally cooperating with you. And I feel like lame ducks are one of those where, like, I feel like I struggle a lot in pirouettes and other turns in ballet. And just in the last few weeks that we've been working on lame ducks, I'm like, oh, I can do these.
Yeah, and
these are,
and it's funny because today when we did it, we were coordinating it from the chaîné, tombe, piqué, which I call it tombe, piqué, pirouettes. No, and that, whatever. No, but when we take it from the chaîné, it was hard at the beginning to coordinate which leg does the tombe and then take the piqué. However, once you got it, it did click and you went chaîné, tombe, piqué, chaîné, tombe, piqué. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's so fun because when ballet is just generally so hard that it's so wonderful in ballet when you hit on a certain step that isn't so much of a struggle.
Yeah, true.
It's like ballet is just hard in general. So if you can find a step where you're like, oh, this is not that bad, it's like, oh, it's so nice. A little bit of relief. Some of them it is funny because they change as I get more comfortable doing them. You know, like you'll hate something and then you get better at it and you're like, oh, maybe I don't hate this as much.
Yeah, so it's true.
I think no one enjoys sucking.
That's something. It's so much true. I think that this was fun. I can't wait for everyone to send the comments.
Yeah, this was a really fun episode. I hope everyone else enjoyed it, and definitely keep a lookout on social media for some forthcoming polls about what are your favorite and least favorite ballet steps. We would love to hear it. Thanks so much for listening, guys.
See ya. Thank you for listening to After Class with Ballet for All.
Join the community on YouTube and Instagram, or come dance with us, our weekly Zoom classes for adult ballerinas like you.
Links included in the episode description. Special thank you to our sponsors.
See you next time after class. Podcast produced by Mission Bridge Media.